Good day, grade 12s. My name is Carden Madzokere, and I'm the author and publisher of the Distinction Bound Student Textbooks. And welcome to 1.9 under Perfect Markets. As we look at this graph, it says study the graph below and answer the questions that follow. As we look at this graph, we see something a bit unique. Well, it's not that common. Profit maximization, and then we have total revenue here. We have total cost. We are used to having those graphs with average revenue, average cost, marginal revenue, marginal cost and stuff. Now this one, let's analyze. Clearly we can already see this is a perfect market. We know this is perfect market because it's the market structure where the demand curve is horizontal, meaning as output goes up, it does not change in terms of the price. So if the price is steady as output goes up, then we expect to see a straight line, because this would not happen for any other market structure, because every unit is sold at a different price. As output goes up for a monopoly, as price goes down. So there is no way you are going to see a curve like this going up like this. What you'd expect is something going up and then it begins to go down. But in this case, you see what we're looking at. Total revenue steadily goes up. As you increase output, this is going to increase steadily as well. But we see something different with total cost. Well, the reason is we have fixed costs and average costs, and variable costs, sorry. So clearly, if we start here at 0, you see that cost is incurred even when production is at 0. The reason for that is because a business will still have to pay for its fixed costs. So if I was to put a line here, this line basically will show your fixed cost. So all of it, as output goes up, your fixed cost remains this one, okay? As in whatever amount it is, maybe if it's 20 Rand, so it remains 20 Rand even when output goes up. Now, then why does it go up as if fixed costs remain fixed? Why is it that as we start to produce, output, TC begins to go up? Why is it not remaining stable? Well, the reason is because now we are producing, and there are costs that we incur because of output, and those costs are called variable costs. So as we begin to produce, we begin to incur some variable costs. Examples will be costs on maybe petrol, costs on electricity, water, let me just say utilities. Basically, it's not like rent, which is the same amount. If I give an example for a business where, let's say, you are renting buses. So let's say you rent a bus, and per day you are supposed to pay, let's say 10,000 for renting the bus. Now, whether you have a trip or not, the owner of the bus would need his 10,000. So as you get a trip, if you get more trips, then it's going to begin to increase your variable costs, which is the cost for the diesel and every other thing that you need for your bus to be running. But the cost that you pay, whether you start the bus or not, is the rent for renting the bus. So basically that will be your fixed cost. So as output goes up, we begin to incur some fixed costs. So another thing we see here is, as we get to point A, we are breaking even now. Our total cost and our total revenue are equal. Okay, now as we increase output, we begin to have a situation where we start making a profit. So all from A to B, we see that we are making a profit from A to B. Why? Because if you look from 15 Rand to 45, each time our revenue is greater than our cost. Okay, so should you produce up to point B, which is maybe 45? Well, according to the profit maximizing rule, you'll have to produce up to 35 because that's where the gap between TR and TC are the biggest. Okay, so let's go to the questions and see if any of the things that I've been discussing will be assessed. Right, which market structure is represented? I answered this already. This is perfect. And the reason we know it's perfect is because total revenue is growing steadily. Like it shows that as which market structure has a situation where as output increases, price does not change, because this indicates that price is not changing each time. Well, it's only perfect. So that's the only answer. Then name the point A. I mentioned already that here we are breaking even. Then briefly describe the term explicit costs. Well, we have implicit costs and explicit costs. Opportunity cost is an example of implicit costs. Explicit costs are the actual costs that we incur. Let's say if we use my example, that would be the money that we are going to pay for the bus, for renting the bus, the money that we are going to pay for the diesel, everything, the insurance, anything you can think of where we are going to spend actual money, that is explicit cost. Right, moving on to the next one. Why would firms incur costs even when output is at zero? I think I mentioned already, it's because of fixed costs. So you still have to pay rent whether you slept in your house or not, because that cost is fixed. But if you didn't sleep at home the whole of December and you left your electricity switched off, disconnected, then you won't pay anything because you did not consume any electricity. You won't pay anything for water because you did not consume any water. Okay, now the next one is use the graph above to explain how profit maximization is achieved by the firm. Well, using this graph, well, I mentioned already, it'll be 35. The reason is because that's where TR and TC have the biggest gap, basically. And yeah, that's it. Let's have a look at the answers. Right, the market structure is perfect. If they had asked motivation, the reason would be, like I've been saying all along, it's the only market structure where as output increases, price does not change. So it's something like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So if you draw a line, it will be a straight line going up like that at 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Now for monopoly, it won't go like that. It's let's say if the first unit is 20 Rand, the second unit will probably be 19 or 18. So you see, you are not going total revenue as 20, 40, 60. You go 20, 38. You see, already it's not steady. So the line will not be straight. And for oligopoly, it's the same because it's kinked. And a kinked demand curve is downward sloping, but it just has 2 degrees of elasticity. And monopolistic is also downward sloping. So there's no way their total revenue would be steady like that. It doesn't go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. It'll be 2, 1 point something. Oh, but let me use something easier. 20, from 20 it can go to 38. It can then go to something like that. Each time is decreasing. So it's not going 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. I think it's answered. Name point A in the graph above. Well, I mentioned that it's where we break even. Briefly describe the term explicit cost, the actual expenditure of a business on the purchase or hire of the inputs required for the production process. Well, my example was renting the bus, buying diesel for the bus, paying insurance, all those things. Ne? Direct payments which a firm makes to others for the purchase of inputs. So this is the opposite of implicit costs. Then why would firms incur costs even when output is at zero? Well, we answered this as firms incur fixed costs, basically, yeah, rent and insurance costs, even when there is no production taking place. Well, that's it. Then the last one, use the graph above to explain how profit maximization is achieved by the firm. Well, at all points where total revenue is greater than total cost, the firm is making a profit one way or the other. I mentioned this A to B thing, that the firm is making a profit basically because its total revenue is greater than its total cost. Then profit is maximized when the vertical gap between total revenue and total cost is the greatest. I mentioned this one already. Then this occurs when 35 units are produced. I also mentioned this. Well, if you have questions, you are free to ask in the comment section. But this has brought us to the end of this particular video. Please like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you in the next video. God bless.